Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another video. How you guys doing today? It's your boy, your only Culture Shock, and I'm here with my guy Landon. Landon, how we doing today?
Oh, it's a fantastic day, man. Spider-Man 2 dropped, so you already know it's a great day. And took a little vacation time. I don't go back to work till next week, so I've been off playing some Spider-Man, just chilling, enjoying a little staycation, and ready to talk some football, man.
Hey man, I'm glad you made it with me today. Going to talk about Colts football. You know, got a lot to go over, but it is going to be the Indianapolis Colts versus the Cleveland Browns. You know, if this was a matchup a few weeks ago with our starter quarterback, I'd be confident in this game, but I'm a little questionable. You know, usually I predict the Colts to win with no question, no brainers, but now it's a little bit up in the air. And we're going to start off with the sole reason of Anthony Richardson being out with the shoulder surgery. He is done for the year, fresh and early rookie career. Rookie start, man. He was doing so good, and it came down to a terrible end due to an actual contact. You know, physical contact sport. He got hit, and he went down on his throwing shoulder, and now he got to get surgery, in which I'm fine with. I'm fine with taking a year out to work on the shoulder that you're going to be using, that throwing arm that you're going to be using for the rest of your career. Work on it now, get it done, make sure you're straight, and you're going to come back stronger than ever. You're putting the Colts in a position to get you some more help moving forward. It's unfortunate that this year came down to an end this way for him, but in the long run, it's gonna be worth it. It's a guy that got a bright future ahead of him, and he's gonna be a star, and he's very talented. He's shown the potential already, and wishes for a speedy recovery moving forward. Landon, let me get your thoughts on when you heard the news about Anthony Richardson.
Um, man, tough, tough. Uh, you know how much I love this dude going into the draft and how excited I was the night he got drafted. And I mean, with me and you being in Kansas City, getting a chance to meet him and talk to him, just to see the joy on his face, to be drafted. And it just sucks. It sucks so bad. And that's just the nature of this franchise, though. I mean, it's been like that for years now, where anything that can go wrong will go wrong. And it's just really unfortunate because this is a guy that, like you said, whenever he was on the field, man, you saw it. You saw the potential to just absolutely be a game breaker at the quarterback position, to be the guy moving forward. And that's still determined, because as great as those flashes have been, not even just this injury now, which is season ending, but he had injuries in every game he played outside of the Rams game. And so now, like, this is a question mark moving forward. Like, it's unfortunate, but it is. That's just the reality of it. Um, and you're not going to know. It's gonna be a question mark until we see him play healthy for a full season. The durability concerns now, and this is something that one of the few red flags for me that he did have on his scouting report was the injuries that popped up in high school and while he was at Florida. So to see that kind of manifest itself so early on in the season, it sucks a lot. And I'm gonna miss watching him play this year, but you know he's still so young, only 21 years old. He'll be 22 next season, and you already saw how much further along he looked than what everybody expected him to look. Well, everybody that didn't really watch him expected him to look, but he looked super far along. And I think he's only going to get better. And this was also a chance, I guess, now for him to just set back, kind of soak everything in, learn the playbook a little bit better, get a little more comfortable with things. And then next year, I mean, really, you're looking for him to take a step forward as far as knowing the play calls, knowing the protection calls, knowing all that. But yeah, this is a guy that just needed live reps, and now he's not going to get them. And it's really sucky. And I hate the curse that this franchise is under. Ever since they cut Peyton Manning, this it is it is the curse of Manning. I've said it for years. I mean, me and my friend Jared, we've talked about the curse. Like, even whenever they first cut Manning, we said this franchise is done. Like, it's over. Like, and it's always something. So
Yeah, it is. It's always up. I agree. The curse thing is hilarious every time I hear it because it's like I mean, just look at what's going on. Like all the signs are pointing towards it. But I mean, like I said, speedy recovery. Wish him well. Can't wait to see him back on the field with the Colts jersey on. The crowd
Man,
loves him. The Indy loves him already, and
please
he
get
hasn't even played
healthy
the
and
whole
stay
season.
healthy. Please get
Yeah,
healthy
please
and
stay
stay
healthy.
healthy
I
because
agree, man.
the dude is just unreal. He's such an unreal talent.
It's amazing, man. The potential he has, man. Like, but moving forward, without Anthony Richardson, that leaves us with one guy, Uncle Rico. Gardner Minshew, his debut against Jacksonville, his former team, wasn't the greatest debut you would say the least. Playing for the starting quarterback for the Colts, his first game was against Jacksonville, and it was a disaster. It looked like last year and the year before all over again. Pocket awareness, playing scared, can't protect the football, just throwing some crazy passes, and when it was just nothing but Jacksonville players around to get the football, miscommunications. But like I said, I think all of these were just the signs of lack of preparation. I think it was short weeks for him to actually prepare for himself. I think next week's game, like this game against the Browns, will be a little bit more polished. I mean, he started off with the opening drive was very promising. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, all right, we might be fine without Richardson, but then it just went downhill. But like I said, the opening drive was beautiful, but it just went downhill. It was a nasty game. But let me get your thoughts about Gardner Minshew moving forward for the rest of the season, and how comfortable are you with him being there?
Well, I'm not comfortable at all. I mean, just to put it lightly, I'm not comfortable. I mean, he's a fantastic backup, and he's a guy that we've seen now that if your starter does go down, like especially like in a game, he can come in, especially in games that he's had a lead in, which is I think most of the games that he's won, he's left and the Colts have had the lead. So he's a guy that can keep you afloat. But as far as him starting for a full season, I don't think it's as bad as what last week was, but it's certainly not great either. It's always somewhere in the middle. And I think that's probably what you're going to get. And I think his limitations will really kind of hinder this offense moving forward from the arm perspective. I mean, because last week, I mean, look, last week looked a lot like last year. You had guys on the defensive side of the ball, just 7-man boxes, 8-man boxes, stacking the box, daring him to beat you down the field with his arm, and he just can't. That's just not his game. And the Colts don't have guys that can get separation outside of Josh Downs and Pittman that can really take advantage of those short, quick passing games. And so, whenever you have limited weapons and a limited quarterback, it really puts a lot of onus on the play caller to get really creative, and it puts a lot of onus on the offensive line to just be perfect every game, um, in run blocking and in pass blocking. And so, unless I'm not worried about the turnovers with Minshew because like I said, last week was really fluky. It's almost the exact opposite of his career. Like he's got like a 3-to-1 touchdown interception ratio for his career, and it went the opposite way last week. So that's normally not his game. He doesn't turn the ball over, but that's what's going. It's going to look hard, or it's going to look difficult going forward. Like those explosive plays that we got with Richardson, those aren't going to be available now, and so you're really going to have to dink and dunk your way and hope for yards after catch and really you know manage the game very well. The term game manager, that's what he's going to have to do because this team now, it can't afford turnovers, and the defense to be put in short field and stuff like that because it's so yeah, I'm not very confident moving forward, but I mean that's just the way every team is. Whenever your starting quarterback goes down, no team in the entire league is prepared to lose their starting quarterback for the season.
I agree 100%. Like I said, Uncle Rico, he has potential to do it. It's just going to be a very tall hill to climb to do that. But like I said, last week game it was just a big cluster, and it was like this game plan that they were trying to run. It was made for Anthony Richardson, and Gardner Minshew is just not Anthony Richardson. It's that simple. But I'm pretty sure Shane Steichen, he's a great offensive mind. He will find something deep in his playbook to, fit Gardner Minshew's gameplay a little bit easier. He's been with him for multiple seasons already. He's been with him in Philly. Now he's with him in Indy. I'm pretty sure he'll adjust his game, and the tempo of the offense to fit Gardner Minshew's production, and it'll be a little bit better of a performance going into next week.
Yeah. We ain't got AJ Brown and Dallas Goddard and Devontae Smith though. Like
No.
it's gonna look a little bit different than it was gonna look in Philly for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, they're gonna have to. I mean, you want to talk about having Jonathan Taylor return to form? Like this is a team now moving forward. Like that's going to be your engine is your running backs with JT and Moss. That's the engine of your offense now.
Absolutely. And I was going to mention that because, last week's performance, you seen Gardner Minshew throw the ball over 35 times and the run game wasn't really there. A lot of people on social media blasted, Shane Steichen and, of course, Irsay and Ballard, just because of the lack of running the football. But people don't really understand is that the defense we played against really pretty much played a design to not get ran up and down the field on because they know Zach Moss and Jonathan Taylor is going to rip them apart if they don't adjust their defense to actually balance the pass game and the run game. So I think they played a pretty good. Jacksonville is a pretty good team. We just seen what they did on Thursday night against the Saints. This team is a really good team. They just won the division last year, so I'm pretty sure they're going to be adjusting to the Colts. They just played them earlier in the season as well, and they know Jonathan Taylor very well. They know Zach Moss is one of the best runners in the league right now. So the Jacksonville team is not a sleeper. So they're going to adjust to what you got going on. They know who's that quarterback, and they're going to play to their strengths. So
Well,
I think
I think
Jacksonville.
that's the main difference to me now moving forward is the ability with Anthony Richardson. You dictate what the defense does. Where as now with Gardner Minshew, the defense now dictates what your offense does. And it's not a successful way to play football. Whenever the defense is able to dictate what you do on offense, that's not good. You want it to be the other way around. And whenever you have a guy like Anthony Richardson, you can dictate whatever the defense does because you don't know if he's going to run, you don't know if he's going to pass, you don't know if he's going to bomb the ball 60 yards down the field because he has that ability. And then when plays break down is when he's at his best. And that can really hurt a defense where you're not going to get that with Gardner Minshew. I mean, he can't create outside of structure. He's not going to open running lanes for the running backs. He's not going to hold defenders. The safeties now, like you saw last week, like these guys are going to start coming up and stacking the box and saying, "Hey, Alec Pierce can't create separation, one-on-one matchup. Win Alec Pierce, or Michael Pittman, one-on-one, maybe with a safety over help. Like that's your only guy. So until they prove that they can do it, I mean, the defenses now going forward are just they're going to dictate what this team does on offense.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be a rough patch, man. It's gonna be a rough patch to go over, but this is still an evaluation year, so Colts fans do not be upset at what we got going on or how the end of the season may come out to be because our expectations aren't that high yet. We know what the potential is gonna be in a few years, but we have to go over these humps to get to that level of expectation. So we're gonna have some rough patches. We had rough patches a few years, and now we got Richardson. Now we have to go through the growing process. Of course, he just got injured, but we're still growing as a team
Yeah, I
together.
was gonna say that's the part that sucks too. Is like because this year was for that evaluation. This was to go through the growing pains, and now he's not going to be able to do that. So then next you're pushing it back a whole nother year now. So next year he's going to have to start from scratch. He's going to have to get the experience and the reps and prove he can stay healthy. Like it's going to be the same thing next year. And now you're pushing stuff back a whole nother year. Quentin Nelson's a year older. Darius Leonard's a year older. Ryan Kelly, 31, 32 years old next year. All these guys that are set up now to really hit the prime of their careers and be in their prime of their careers, you're just wasting another year. And that's what it seems like it's been for the last 3 to 4 years since Andrew Luck retired. So it's a really, really crappy situation all around, and it sucks a lot.
What a reality check, huh? So
I mean,
yeah,
yeah, like
man.
that's what it is. I mean, I'm not here to I'm not gonna piss down your back and tell you it's raining. I mean, I'm just gonna be
That is
upfront with you. I mean,
hilarious.
it is what it is, and it sucks, and it's crappy. And I mean, I'm not saying, not to go out and, root for this team to win and, or root for this team to tank, because look, at the end of the day, we want to win football games, and that's what it's all about. It's about winning in this league, and that's the only thing that matters. Is it's a result based business, but yeah, that's what like you were saying, man. Like it's an evaluation year and all this, but now the evaluation's out the window. So, well, just kind of we're just along for the ride. We'll see what happens.
That's right. Got to buckle up. You mentioned lack of separation at the wide receiver rooms. Of course, there's been speculation of between the Denver Broncos and the Indianapolis Colts with Jerry Jeudy. Trade deadline is around the corner. What are your thoughts about the potential of Jerry Jeudy in Indianapolis? Are you a fan of Judy's game? Let me get your thoughts on that really quick.
Um, well, one, I don't anticipate anything happening on that front, if we're just being honest. But
Same here. Same here.
if what something was to materialize, I like Judy's game as far as like, I mean, he is a guy that like the Colts don't have on the outside right now, where he's a guy that just gets insane separation. He's one of the best route runners in the league. Extremely talented. I mean, there's a reason he was taken 15th overall in the draft. I mean, he's extremely talented. I'm not a fan of his antics, and I'm not a fan of his attitude and the me first showboating attitude. Like I mean, I know it's like a stereotypical wide receiver, right? Like diva wide receiver, but I'm not a fan of putting that into our locker room. So I think for me, there's a better way to go about addressing that position, namely in this draft coming up is like extremely deep at wide receiver. And it all depends on the price. I mean, yeah, if you're going to get him for like a fourth, fifth round pick, then yeah, I mean, I get pulling the trigger on it, and I would completely understand it. But as far as like, would it be a move that like I would go out and make? Probably not.
Nah. I mean, why do that when you can find a Puka Nakua in Mobile, right? Because you know he's going to be one down there next year. So, I mean, we might as
Hey,
well just wait.
yeah, that was my dude, man. I love that kid.
Yeah.
Love that kid.
Absolutely. So, no the Jerry Judy deal. So, back to the game that's coming up on Sunday. The Cleveland Browns have one of the best defenses in the NFL. I repeat, they have one of the best defenses in the NFL. A lot of people
So
are sleeping on this
let's
team.
let's repeat it again. They have one of the best defenses statistically of all time right now.
Yeah. And it's like a quiet production. Like no one's talking about the Cleveland Browns like they should be, but this team is like sneaky good. But the thing I think they lack is offensive production. The offense took a hit this offseason. Of course, their starting quarterback Deshaun Watson is dealing with an injury, but they have a pretty decent backup. But I think that offense is what's going to hold them back moving into the end of the year. If they do happen to make the postseason, I think the offense is going to be the issue. But the defense, on the other hand, is one of the best defenses I've seen so far this year. Of course, we played some good defenses. When we played the Titans, they were good at stopping the run. We beat them. The Baltimore Ravens, when we played them, they had one of the best defenses. But I think this is going to be the biggest challenge the Colts have faced all year. We mentioned Jacksonville. The Colts always lose to Jacksonville, so we can't even use that as a explanation right now. But I think this Browns team right now is the biggest challenge yet. And if we can do anything offensively against this defense, I'll have a little bit of faith going on towards the end of the year. But let me get your thoughts about the Colts offense going up against this Browns defense, and especially Myles Garrett.
Well, it's going to be interesting for sure. I mean, it's not just Miles Garrett either. It's you're looking at, like I was saying, to these linebackers now coming down into the box,
Former Colt over
blitzing.
there.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough. This offensive line is going to have their work cut out for them. So yeah, I don't anticipate it being a pretty day on offense at all. I think they're going to do everything in their power to stop the run, to make Gardner Minshew throw it 55 times. Like that's what they want. That's what Cleveland wants. You want Gardner Minshew to throw the ball 40 to 50 times a game, because if that happens, you're probably going to win. Um, but I mean, it's going to be tough, and this is a really good barometer on where Bernard Ryman is as far as that goes. But what I'm terrified of is now that Braden Smith has been rolled out, is they're going to line. I mean, they're going to line Miles Garrett up across from Blake Freeland probably the majority of the day, and we saw what Aaron Donald did to him. So yeah, it could be a very, very long day for this Colts offense. But uh, I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean, those guys get paid too. There's a reason they're one of the best defenses in the NFL. And they're playing, but number wise, they're one of the best defenses we've ever seen through 6 weeks. So it'll be interesting to see, how Shane Steichen can kind of scheme to alleviate some of this pressure. And I expect this to be a game where they're using a lot of screens, getting the ball out very quickly. Well, yeah, I mean, you would love to run to the left, but like it's not just Miles Garrett either that's playing really. I mean, that whole defensive line's playing phenomenal right now. So, um, yeah, it'll be interesting to see kind of how Shane Steichen kind of schemes to combat, you know, getting the ball into the hands of his playmakers as much as possible and letting these guys go create.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm pretty sure Miles Garrett's going to be doing some more basketball techniques on the line of scrimmage because he's just going to have a field day. I can see it now, but I mean, I'm not lacking. I'm not giving out hope on the Colts because it could be a trap game. The Colts can come out hitting on all cylinders. They could have a good day. Anything's possible in the NFL. Nobody expected the Lions to have a good season either, but it is what it is. So, moving forward, I
Come on,
do
there were
think
really
this.
people that didn't think the Lions would be good.
Oh, absolutely. I thought they were going to be good, but come on. A lot of people thought that it was a fake run last year. It is what it is.
No, no, that team is loaded. There's
They are
nothing.
loaded, but it
That,
is
that,
Jared Goff, and a lot of people do not have faith in Jared Goff.
that team is
So,
extremely talented. Yeah.
football, social media, you know how they go. So it is what it is. But like I said, I think it's going to be a tough day for the Colts offensive line. They're going to have to lock in up there, give Minshew time to make some plays, and this is going to be a lot on Shane Steichen's play calling to see what they're going to have produced going in there, and how are they going to implement Zach Moss and Jonathan Taylor this game. This is going to be a key factor, and this is moving into the next point. Um, your key of emphasis for this game before we're wrapping it up, before we get up out of here. Let me get your key points for the Colts. If they do have a chance of winning it, what do they got to do to beat this Browns team? And then after you go, I'll give you my thoughts and the score prediction.
Yeah, I mean, pretty simple to me. Turnovers. You can't. You have to win the turnover battle in this game. You can't give them the ball, and you have to take the ball away from them. Especially, if Deshaun Watson doesn't play in this game, which I anticipate him setting at least just for another week. I think PJ Walker will probably be out there this week, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the turnover battle because that's the whole key to this game. And I mean, that's really one of the reasons why Indy lost last week is those turnovers, the three fumbles or the three interceptions and the fumble that led to 17 points. And I believe they lost by right around 17 points. So, yeah, if they're going to win this game, they're going to have to keep, play clean game, not turn the ball over, and they're probably going to have to create some turnovers on defense and not, let this team just kind of march down against this, zone defense playing off ball, um, and just let them carve you up. So, yeah, that's easily key of the game for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Colts are gonna have to give the Cleveland Browns a Cleveland Browns type of day. They're gonna have to play like the Cleveland Browns. The lack of offense. It's pretty much almost the same picture. Well, not the Browns, but I think both teams are good defensively and offensive struggle. So I think if the Colts have any chance of winning, the defense is going to have to show up and give the Colts good field position to not have to run all the way down the field to put up some type of points. And I do think if the Colts put up the points defensively, it'll be easier for the offense to, to game manage to get themselves in position to win. So I do expect the defense for the Colts to turn up today. It's going to be a defensive showout, if anything. But like I said, I do give the Browns the
Yeah.
favor.
See, I'm not even so sure about that. I don't think the Colts really do have a great defense. I think they're awful in the red zone. They give up a ton of yards, um, through the air to wide receiver. And does have very talented wide receivers.
Amari Cooper.
Um,
Hmm.
and then not only that, Grover Stewart, who we haven't even talked about. Grover Stewart's out the next 6 weeks. He is like literally the key to their run defense, and he's gone now. So yeah, what do you do? I mean,
I do love Taven Bryan. I will say
Taven Bryan is awful against the run. I
that.
mean, if they, I saw somebody put this on Twitter. I can't remember who it was. If they put Taven Bryan in as starting defensive tackle, they're completely unserious about winning this game, and that's them telling you they're probably tanking. He's a decent pass rushing guy. The guy can't stop the run to save his life, and he's never been that guy. So yeah, it's I don't like I said, I'm not even quite sure that the Colts defense is even good. I mean, I think um I think they have good players. I think, obviously Zaire Franklin, DeForest Buckner, Ebukam, like all these guys like are great individually, but I think as a whole and as a unit, um, I think this Colts defense leaves a lot to be desired. So, and it'll be interesting to see how they move forward now without one of I mean, you can't go what 2 to 3 players deep without getting to Grover Stewart as far as like your best defensive player. I mean, you obviously, you have DeForest Buckner, but I would say DeForest Buckner, Zaire Franklin, and then you're probably getting into Grover Stewart, right there. And he's now out. So yeah, we'll see how they look without Grover.
Yeah, we shall see. Now we're going to get into the score predictions and get up out of here. But hopefully for the best. I've seen this team beat the Chiefs. I've seen this team beat the Ravens. So that's one of those games I'm hoping it's going to be. I'm going to go with my score prediction. I'll let you go and then we'll get up out of here. My score prediction, I'm going to go with the Colts upset the best defense in the NFL. Give them a game-winning field goal. It's going to be 20-17.
Yeah, well, I know it sounds like I'm just being overly negative this entire episode, which
Absolutely not.
I'm not really meaning to be. I'm just trying to be realistic about the situation they're in right now moving forward. Because like I said, they've probably lost 2 of their 5 most crucial players in the last 10 days. Um, so it's going to be tough sledding for me. And hopefully I'm wrong. I love to be wrong when I talk about this type of stuff. I pray I'm wrong. You can dunk on me. That's perfectly fine. But I have the Cleveland Browns. I don't think it's even going to be particularly close. I think I've got the Cleveland Browns winning 21, the Colts, 10.
Okay, ain't nothing wrong with that. Everybody got their own opinion. It is what it is. This is why this is a show. Two opposite opinions coming together and colliding to see who's right and who's wrong. And then we'll talk about it later. But that's all we got for you guys. This landed this Marcus. Unfortunately, Mike couldn't be with us this week. Keep him in your prayers. Hopefully, everything gets situated over there. He is fine, healthy. But, life is life. So it is what it is. We'll move forward. He'll be back soon. So we'll keep you guys posted until then. But we are out. And we will see you guys on Sunday. You guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Until then.